show, we talk about my 10 favorite John Cena matches of all time. It'll be a mixture of what was the best, what was my favorite, and somewhere in between. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your favorite John Cena matches down below in the comments. Let's get into this video. This is John Cena's last week ever in professional wrestling. As we know, the last time is now, so we're making John Cena themed videos this week. And today, like I said, we're going to talk about my 10 favorite John Cena matches. And right off the bat, I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to pick a match here and there and go from it on this list I have of 10. So the first match I'm going to talk about here is John Cena, Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam 2013. Now, this was the first time ever I felt like John Cena didn't wrestle as the Superman level babyface. I kind of felt like he was playing into the heel aspect, but he wasn't a heel by any stretch of the imagination. It was just more so Daniel Bryan was that beloved underdog babyface who finally faced someone like a John Cena, and it was like, whoa, we have something different here. We got a little bit more of a technical wrestling masterpiece, I would say, and I enjoyed this match so much. This is actually in my top 3 John Cena matches ever, which I know it's crazy. They only wrestled like one time in a true one-on-one big deal match, and this is how it went. And unfortunately, they never faced again, which I kind of wish they did because this was fucking awesome, bro. Like, Daniel Bryan getting a clean win over John Cena. That never happened around then. Like, it really never happened, especially from a guy like Bryan, who has never been a solidified guy. Maybe he won a world title, sure, but he wasn't really solidified in any stretch of the imagination. And Vince McMahon actually let Daniel Bryan win, and that was freaking cool. And to this day, I go back to that match, I'd say once a year or so. Cena even had the injured bicep, or the stap infection, whatever they want to claim it as. And this match still holds up to this day. It's just a technical masterpiece. I'd like to say they were in there 25 to 30 minutes or so. I've seen all these matches many, many times. And this one just really stuck out to me. It's something I wanted to like talk about because I feel like most people don't talk about this when you think of John Cena's greatest matches. And he's not one of Cena's greatest rivals by any imagination, but this one rivalry that was like a month and a half or so was fucking money. And I wish people put more respect on this championship match than they do already because it was a banger. The next match I have on this list is John Cena, Roman Reigns at No Mercy 2017. Now, it was between this and between SummerSlam 2021, and I decided to go with this match as I just felt we had a little bit more wrestling in this match. I felt like the latter one played a little too much on story just because Cena wasn't half in Hollywood and he didn't want to overcommit too much doing too crazy physical spots. Yeah, it was still a physical match, don't get me wrong, but I felt like John Cena in the first match was still full-time WWE, so we got a little more of the extra fun stuff where they actually had an announce table bump, and we got a little bit more in-depth in the match. Cena had a little bit more gas in his sails as he was able to go just a little bit more in 2017. I thought that was the true end of his in-ring prime, and this match was awesome. Like I said, the other match was awesome. This match was awesome as well. You got Roman Reigns, who was in a spot where the crowd really didn't like him, and he still needed a couple victories to help solidify him and add reasoning behind just the, oh, I'm in the main event. Like, yeah, we need to have a reason for you being in the main event. Like, who would you beat? And he beat John Cena. He beat him pretty clean, too. He kicked out of the AA, the Super AA, the Double AA, the roll through, which we actually got the Royal Rumble that year. And then I saw this, and I'm like, there's no way. This might be it. This is over. But no, Roman Reigns kicked out of the roll through Double AA, and I'm like, bro, how is this happening? There's no way that Roman Reigns is going to beat John Cena. And then he beat John Cena, which in retrospect, it made all the sense in the world. It was totally reasonable. But I thought for once, Cena might have been the guy like, all right, Roman Reigns, you beat everybody. Let's have John beat you. And then you can beat him later on. But nope, we only got one match, and it was a banger. And they also felt, like I said, 2021, but I prefer the No Mercy match. I thought that was a little bit better. It was about 25 or so minutes, and it was a really nice match on that No Mercy card, which also featured Lesnar Strowman, I think. Next match I'm going to look at, I was actually at, and that was John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam 2025. Now, this match, I was up in the Jesus seats, as my friend Bree likes to say, but regardless, dude, being in attendance for that match, the audience was already amped up. John Cena officially turned back babyface this night, which you could maybe say was the night before, but truly, we knew he was actually for real this night, and the colors came back on the Titantron. They were fighting literally everywhere, in the ring, out of the ring, up the ramp, on the stage, under the stage. They were on the Cody Vader. They went everywhere, bro. They were in the crowd. Like, these two guys saw their WrestleMania match, which I don't think was the worst match of all time, but it definitely was not like this 5-star banger. And they took that, and the story was good enough, so I was okay with it. But when you look at this second match, and even John said, we weren't trying to give you a technical masterpiece at WrestleMania 41. And then with this match, they really wanted to over-deliver, and then they did, and then some. This match, you had a lot of good technical moves, you had a lot of table bumps, weapons brought in. It really brought the edge out of Cody Rhodes that you kind of needed to see for quite a while that John Cena lacked through a lot of his career. I would say there was points where John Cena didn't have the edge, and he was just Superman, super babyface. I felt like in 2012, you finally saw him be able to balance that out because he had it early on, then he lost it for a bit, and then 2012 with The Rock, he really started to gain that, which that match was also on this video, but we're going to get to it in a second. John Cena, Cody Rhodes. I love the fact that Cody Rhodes did the whole salute thing before he beat him. I won't want to say necessarily a passing of the torch, but you kind of look at it as a proverbial, that's the word I'm looking for, way of looking at it. I think, it worked out for Cody Rhodes. Definitely helped him beating a top guy like Cena just to solidify his status. Because, again, Cody Rhodes still has, I wouldn't say a lot to prove, but he still has a little bit left to prove as a top guy. And, on the all-time list, if you want to rank him like that, I think he can do just a little bit more in his career. So we got a little more time at Cody. So definitely helps Cody Rhodes out. It was actually rated a 5-star by Meltzer, if you care. I don't really care too much, but it is a 5-star match if you're asking me. My own personal rating, but banger match. I love it. John Cena, Cody Rhodes, I was there. It might get the I was there tax, which makes it up a little higher on my personal list, but hey, I'm okay with it, man, because you can't see me. I was there. Yeah. Next match I'm going to talk about is 2 of John Cena's and CM Punk's matches. We're going to look at the Raw match and the Money in the Bank match. Now, the Money in the Bank match, we all know, had the famous story where CM Punk was going to leave WWE when his contract expired. He was facing John. He was going to take the title out. And this match was awesome. It really played in that story and played to the Chicago crowd to perfection. When they were making the entrances, CM Punk had the whole crowd behind him. He actually debuted that cool white Cult of Personality Best in the World shirt. And it was really sick. This is where he actually debuted that white Best in the World shirt where it had the little black trim up here. I don't know what it's called. Don't hate me. But that was where he made that shirt. The last time he ever used the Fire Burns theme song, and this is right before he would transition to Cult of Personality. The crowd was all into it. They were all pro CM Punk. John Cena comes out, and you got a really anti-Cena crowd here, man. We all know this match. I hope a lot of you have seen this match. If you haven't ever seen this match, make sure you definitely go check it out. But we had a lot of back and forth technical wrestling, which John Cena never did too often, but when he did, he was damn good at it. And I feel like people don't give him enough credit where it's due, because John Cena was one hell of a technical wrestler when he had to be. And then when we get to the end of this match, there were some shenanigans here and there. Cena hit his moves, Punk hit his moves. They would kick out here and there, a bunch of false finishes, a couple moves to the outside. Vince comes down at the end where Punk looks like he's favorable to win, tries to have a little Chicago screw job, and then John Cena takes out Johnny Ace, says, no, we're doing this my way. He rolls back in the ring. GTS, we all know the rest. And oh my God, the crowd pop was eccentric. And then they tried to have Del Rio cash in, which I don't fucking know why Alberto Del Rio had to get this major push back then, but we're not going to talk about it because it is what it is. John Cena, CM Punk, that match was a banger. If you thought that was their best match, absolutely not. John Cena, CM Punk round 2 was, oh my God. And I want to say round 2 because they had other matches between them, but on this list, round 2, meaning John Cena versus CM Punk on Monday Night Raw. Bro, that was the greatest John Cena match ever. They were tearing the roof off of the place in Houston, bro. They pulled out a pile driver, a Cena Rana. They were doing everything, bro. And like you would think, it's something in that Raw match. It's to determine who's facing The Rock. We all knew it was John. They weren't going to run Punk and Rock if Cena's there. But you were running this match, and in retrospect, I kind of wish they had it be a draw, so that way Punk could have gotten in that main event. But John Cena did win that match through a hard-fought 28-minute, even through the commercials match. And it was an all-time classic. It was one of those matches where you had magic in the bottle. Both these guys, they had something to prove. Punk wanted to treat it as his WrestleMania because he wasn't going to get the big match. And I don't know if they knew he was facing Taker just yet, but he treated this as his big WrestleMania, and it delivered. And this was what you could have gotten at a WrestleMania. And I think it's kind of insane that John Cena, CM Punk never battled at a WrestleMania. I feel like it's something you could have done. You even could have done it this year if you really wanted to be honest with you. I think CM Punk would have been the perfect guy to have been John's last match. He is his wrestling soulmate. John said it himself. I'm saying it. Every other person in the world will say it, because John Cena and CM Punk are each other's wrestling soulmates. They know each other in and out of the ring so perfectly. The characters, the personalities, everything, the human beings, it kind of meshes very well to have a phenomenal, beautiful rivalry, and that's what they had. They also had the match this year at Night of Champions, which I thought was one of his stronger retirement matches. Now, ever since we've had some of the other ones later in the year. Definitely fell down the list just a little bit, but it was still a great match. Definitely top 5 from this year. I really enjoyed it. I kind of wish it was a clean finish, but at the end of the day, you can't really book it the way they wanted to. So John Cena did get the win with shenanigans, and honestly, it was okay. John Cena being CM Punk was totally fine. Punk actually bested him more times than not, to be honest with you. So it was pretty cool to see John pick up the win here. And again, great matches they always had. But the Raw and not SummerSlam, Money in the Bank match are the two of the matches that always stand out to me. SummerSlam match 2011 was good too, by the way. And 2012. Shit, they had a lot of matches. We also have to look at Edge versus John Cena at Unforgiven. And let me tell you something. This match it's a great all-time classic, bro. You get two guys who hate each other, had a really nice feud that 2006 started when Edge cashed in his Money to Make It New Year's resolution. Cena won it back at Rumble. Then after Mania, where he beat Triple H, Cena and Edge kind of re-sparked that rivalry where it was Edge versus Cena versus Triple H. Then Edge would beat RVD for the title after Cena lost to RVD at One Night Stand, which then really resumed that feud because RVD got suspended. You had the SummerSlam match, which I think ended DQ in Boston, if I'm not mistaken. We had a couple matches here and there after that. And then the big match, again, was at Unforgiven, where John Cena beat Edge, where he had the Rated R spinner belt. That's one of the best Cena feuds ever. I mean, I don't think it's John Cena's greatest rival. I think it's clearly Punk. But if you were to say Edge, I understand it, and it's valid. I think the quality of their work is what would be the big argument there, and the quality of the work was amazing. The match, they knew each other in and out of the ring. Edge was the perfect foil and heel to go against John Cena at that time in 2006, helped bring the edge out of him. No pun intended, but it really helped bring something out of John where we hadn't seen it in quite a few years, and it was just something really cool and exciting to see. So for that reason alone, that is one of my favorite John Cena Edge matches, or John Cena matches ever. For that reason alone, that is my favorite John Cena. No. And for that reason, that is one of my favorite John Cena matches ever. Got 2 more matches on this list. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, comment as well. We got 3 more to go. I got John Cena, Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2014. You might say, hey, Aiden, that match fucking sucks. Go fuck yourself. And you know what? For that, I won't be shocked at you. I'm not going to lie to you. Because you know what? A lot of people didn't like this match. But I really enjoyed this because I just felt like it was something different. Something we hadn't seen in forever. John Cena, I don't want to say he was on the tail end of his career, but he was definitely the tail end of his peak. As the top guy in WWE, he was starting to fall down the pecking order just a little bit. Now, he'd always be the draw that, you know, John Cena name always has been, always will be if he ever came back to wrestling, which he won't. But if he ever did, his name value alone will always draw the tickets, and he'll be the ticket seller. But he was not going to be positioned as the top champion anymore. Brock Lesnar was going to be one of those guys for the next couple of years, and Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, other guys who would join in. And you had John Cena, Lesnar at SummerSlam, right? And everyone thought, oh, we might get a 50-50 match. Brock probably wins, but you never know. Cena might win. He's Super Cena. But then Brock beat the shit out of him. 16 suplexes, an ass kicking. Literally one of the most beautifully produced wrestling matches ever. And you might say, hey, this wasn't really a match. Well, it was a squash match, essentially, right? Yeah, it was. But it was a beautiful squash match. And if this was something you did at WrestlePalooza, it's understandable to an extent. Now, that's not what they did. I feel like they really just took the sail out of the room and the air out of the room so fastly and just so poorly, where that WrestlePalooza match never had a chance. And it should have, because I'm not saying Brock's his best rival. I don't even think he's top 5 John Cena rival, but he's definitely up there on the list. And you could have actually made a fun, entertaining match. And I know the whole point was to make Brock Lesnar look strong, but there was better ways to do it. If you wanted to do it, I would have much rather you tried a little bit similar to the SummerSlam approach, where there was energy at some points, and you probably need a little more energy now just because it's later in their career. Not one match, the effect of that was not going to replicate itself nowadays, especially with what Brock has done in his life. But John Cena, Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam 2014 is a match where you should look at every now and then, because it's honestly a really good match. It's a really good squash, and that doesn't happen too often. Having a good squash match is difficult, because usually just like, oh, it's a squash, it gets his ass kicked, there we go, ring the bell, done, it's over. But no, this match is something that really proved the test of time. The squash matches do work. You just got to really do them rarely, and you got to do them nicely. You got to book it to perfection. We also have John Cena and Randy Orton in an I Quit match. Now, this I Quit match has a lot of very fun visuals. I'm looking at it on my screen at the moment, where John Cena was handcuffed above the ring post. I'll put this on the screen. Randy Orton was screaming at him with a kendo stick. We also had them handcuffed to each other, where this would lead to John Cena choking him out with the handcuff, the STF, the little impromptu, and that match is probably their best match ever. I like the Backlash match this year, but I definitely would have to say the Randy Orton match at I Quit, the I Quit match at Breaking Point. I would definitely have to say, though, the I Quit match at Breaking Point probably takes the cake. Now, the Last Man Standing one was good as well. They're all pretty damn good matches. I feel like they've never necessarily had a horrible match. There's been some poorer matches that they've had just due to the booking and the way cards were scheduled and their rivalry was booked, but I felt like there was a certain point, probably past 2011, where any match they had was really good. You look at Hell in a Cell 2014. You look at Royal Rumble 2014. You look at those matches, TLC 2013. These were all pretty good matches. And then Backlash, we know the chemistry. We knew what we were getting. It was awesome. So John Cena, Randy Orton, probably top of each other's list for rivals, but this one right here, I Quit, takes the cake. And for the last match we have, now, I'll be honest with you, you might hate me. You might think I'm crazy. John Cena, The Rock, WrestleMania 29. Why are you saying that, Aiden? That match, that was not better than WrestleMania 28. Well, guess what? I was there. Yeah, I got the I was there. I don't have that shirt. I wish I had the shirt like that. That'd be cool to look back on. But I was there for a twice in a lifetime, and I think the match is better than most people put it to. Now, The Rock got injured, and that takes away a little bit. It wasn't meant put out to be as good as it should have and could have been, but it was still a good match. It was still a really fun story, trying to play into the John Cena never having that other win over The Rock. Now, it would have been fun if we had a 1-1 scenario, and this was like the game 3 or the third of the trilogy, but it only was 2 matches. Each guy won one apiece. It was very fun. It was really cool. And John Cena getting the win over The Rock was something that I'll always be grateful for to have witnessed. You know, one of the great memories I have, which that's actually part of tomorrow's video. We probably will be ranking the best moments I've ever witnessed of John Cena's career. So stay tuned for that. But John Cena, The Rock, a great match. WrestleMania 28 was also really good. If you said that match, I'm not going to hate you. If I wasn't at WrestleMania 29, I'd probably say the 28 match, but the 29 match, I was there. So yeah, it's my favorite John Cena Rock match. You don't like it? Oh, well, tough shit. With that being said, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. Just kind of be a little simple. We do have a couple more Cena videos coming this week, and then Sunday we'll be resuming all other Achongmas content. We have a lot of collabs coming on the channel. I'm excited to say I'm reaching out to quite a few people in the past couple of days and weeks, and we're going to have a lot of fun faces coming on the channel very soon. I'm excited for that. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, comment as well. I'm Aiden, and I'm